Hi folks, I know it's been a while since you've seen me face to face talking. Usually I'm behind the camera shooting outside in my backyard at the birds and everything else that's going out there. Mostly the hummingbirds, I try and do that. And summer's coming up and the hummingbirds are coming back. So you haven't heard me talk about what's been going on in the political area of this country so far this year. It's been a big mess. It's been hectic, it's been chaotic. The stock market's going up and down. People are being fired, discharged, and everything from the government, and now they're being told to be rehired by the federal court system because everything that's been going on has been going on by people who just don't know what they're doing. And, they're not asking the right people to find out how things work and how things should be done. And that's the tragedy of it all. And I'm speaking today, as my Vietnam veteran hat says, and my honor flight from Lake County Honor Flight, it also shows with my shirt. The veterans are getting the raw end of the deal. Because one of the things that you look at when you look at federal government employees, a lot of them are veterans. A lot of them are veterans because veterans actually get a preference with federal hiring. In the old days, if you were a veteran and you took an exam, you got 10 additional points when you put in an application for a federal government job because of your service to the country. This time around, because of who we have in charge, a convicted felon, veterans are being targeted as people who are not supposed to be doing the business of working for the government. And while they all say, even the new Secretary of Defense says he's going to look forward to his veterans, some of the first people that got dismissed from federal jobs were veterans. And it's sad to say that a lot of them were serving their country over a long period of time. Some of them were 20-year veterans of the military and then took on further employment with the federal government. And I heard one on television the other day said that he took the job in government to continue his service for the country. And he could be doing a different job in the same thing in the private sector, making a lot more money. But he was dedicated to the service of his country. And that's what we all were, dedicated to the service of our country. I know in Vietnam a lot of people were drafted. I joined. That was me. I wasn't a sucker or a fool. I just wanted to serve my country in that way. A lot of people joined the Army. A lot of people were drafted. A lot of people joined the various services to serve their country. And those people that were even drafted did a heck of a job out there in the field and giving their lives for this country. So, and that's why the government said, we're going to give you a little benefit if you want to continue to work and serve your country in government employer. But that's all changed now. With Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, in charge of streamlining government and getting rid of the waste in government, all he is doing is crippling the government. And that's being said, I don't want this to be too long of a video because there's so much I want to say about what's going on. Well, this is the bottom line. A lot of the veterans and the ones that I've seen on television have said, yes, they voted for Donald Trump. One guy voted for Donald Trump 3 times and asked if he would do it. He said no. He said he did not expect what was happening now. He was dismissed from his job. He was doing excellent work, but because he was a probationary employee, of switching jobs in the government, when you go from one job to another, you're on probation. And he had plenty of time in service, plenty of time in the government employment, but still, because you switch jobs to a higher position, he was a probationary employee. So they dismissed all of the probationary employees. And now, after yesterday, I found out that a federal judge has said that all of these probationary employees who were dismissed wholeheartedly by the government for no specific reason other than saying that their performance was bad, even after they had stellar reviews on their papers, they have to get their jobs back because what was done was totally illegal. But I said all that to say this. Veterans are constantly being dumped on by the government. As a Vietnam veteran, it took me years in order to get disability and I got 90% disability. I'm not going to make it to 100 before I die, probably, but that's the way they want it to be. But the other thing is that, we fight for that. We fight for the country. We do what we're told to do. And then you have people that come into office and people that have never served in the military trying to tell other folks what they need to cut. And the last thing that I'm going to say, because I'm just speaking and just getting it off my chest, how I feel about what's going on in the government now. The last thing I said, I saw Chuck Schumer this morning on a video that he did last night, talking on one of the stations I don't want to mention on here because they're doing some bad things too. But he was talking, he was saying he prefers passing the legislation to keep the government open than to let the government go down. His rationale was this, that Musk, I'm sorry, not Monk. Monk he's a good detective, but Elon is not very good at detecting anything that he needs to do. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, our current president, want the government to shut down so that they can do what they're doing without any barriers. Right now, the federal courts are taking aim at some of the things that they've done that were totally illegal. If we have a government shutdown, they get the opportunity to declare who is an essential employee. And they will not declare veterans as essential employees. They will not declare anybody they deem as an enemy of their political agenda. And that would mean that they can fire almost 90% of the federal government because they are not essential during a shutdown. After the shutdown's over, who knows what's going to happen at that point. But the whole thing that Chuck Schumer was saying was, we have a bad bill. It's definitely a bad bill, but it's worse if we don't allow the government to maintain and stay open. We will see what happens this evening when they go for the vote for the shutdown or not, but I'm pretty sure that the government's going to stay open. And the only reason that the government stays open is because Democrats want to keep the government running. All of you who voted for these Republican congressmen and senators, you have 2 years to think about what they're doing to you and to the country. And then it's time to say, maybe we need to get a government that's going to work for the people and a government by the people. And the government is looking for the interest of this country first. Well, I kind of said a lot of rambling things, but I guess you get the gist of what I'm saying. And so, now, and like I said, I haven't been back here for a while, but, it's good to be back. And it's good to speak my feelings, and I hope this it's not that long. It's only about, I'm looking at the time now, 7 minutes. So that's a little bit of rambling, a little bit of justification, a little bit of saying that we're in a bad situation. But as my former pastor said, God is always in control. And God bless the United States of America, and God double bless the military veterans who have served this country and given so much and continue to give in the auspice of war against veterans. And that's even to my Marine brothers. I'm Army, but it's even to my Marine brothers whom I love so much. Semper Fi. Okay, that's it for now.